setting them up for success. Now they are up against their brothers of the next generation of MPL. Will they beat their brothers from Brazil on their debut? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analyst stand here. It's me, Naisu, joined here with Trex and Wolf to close up the day for you with this final match. Boys, how we feeling? It's a heated one. RRQ Akira and Occupy Thrones.
Definitely a heated one. I'm honestly excited to see how the talent predictions end up because, of course, I mean, Akira looked great, but after Occupy Thrones last night, Leo definitely has some surprises in his pocket.
I think that it's just kind of sad that they will be eliminating each other, right? You want them to move forward. So much improvement between the players of this region. And it's just a hot topic today, like the next generation of MPL. Last year, I kind of asked for a Western kind of, like if there's MSC, hopefully there's a Western version of that. And I'm pretty sure that these two teams will be dominating that.
I feel like that's a big thing for a lot of these teams here. If they don't have an MPL region, a lot of people were surprised, right? Some of these teams. I mean, even technically, the previous series, the Valley, I would say people were surprised because there's no MPL in NA, right? There's a couple tournaments here and there, but all over the world, there's just proof that there are so many amazing teams and players out there begging for a league like the MPL.
And I mean, it just goes to show the hunger of some of these regions, right? How bad a lot of these regions want it. Now, Brazil has gotten the MPL, right? And Akira has been able to hone itself in that league and has really just showed up. And I think even then, people thought that they weren't going to be the strongest team, but honestly becoming a possible, or maybe even could be said, dark horse of this event.
Yeah, I kind of was counting, actually. I think we have like 5 Western teams left out of the 10.
Yeah.
We also have, out of the 9, and 4 Southeast Asian teams. And even Midnight is actually going for RRQ Akira and Live for Surf.
He's going for RRQ in general.
RRQ Oshi.
Hey, you know what? It's RRQ, right? So this is, I feel like in a way this is expected, but hey, there's an Occupy Thrones here. It is from the MENA region, XLR 44. Now that's a lot of RRQ Akira votes here, but still, I mean, even the performance yesterday from Occupy Thrones, that's pretty exciting going into this match.
But my question is, Naisu, I want to throw it back at you. What makes you vote for Akira here? Let's get saucy.
Let me tell you. No, honestly, I have been a fan of RRQ just in general, right? And even leading up to the M4 tournament, following even M3, right? With Luis, King, and third one was... Yes, I mean, as a team, following them along has been really interesting, and knowing that now they're under this banner of RRQ has been a big factor for it. And I mean, I got to vote for them, right? I love the personalities, I love the play style of both of them.
You gotta have to say Occupy Thrones. They have a Filipino coach. I'm gonna be actually be voting for that guy. So we'll find out what happens as we throw it. I think we're gonna be throwing it
to the casters
themselves.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and throw it over to them. Boys, take this game away. Enjoy the series.
These teams have grown so much, both from developing regions with their own MPLs, but sadly tonight only one marches on. At your service, my name is Leo, joined at the desk by LaFell and Jays, and we'll be bringing you this best of 3 between Occupy Thrones and RRQ Akira. Before we get on with the pre-match discussion, going into the draft, I'd like to remind you all about the M4 Pass. It's available right now. Complete all active tasks and you will reach level 75 at ease and for free. Log in now and get exclusive rewards such as the Beatrix Light Chaser and Stellar Brilliant skins and the M4 Beatrix figurine. They're all waiting for you in that pass. Use the hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLBBM4, and hashtag Dare to Be Great. Battle Night goes live this January 21st. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in the game, and make sure you do that by January 21st to get the skin choice chest. You can choose the skin you like the most from the chest, and aside from that, Battle bonus awaits you on the same day. Play matches and you'll get team star protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points, double DXP, and double BP for 5 matches. We're not stopping there. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that same day. Save the date, log in on the game, January 21st. Enjoy the match and enjoy tons of rewards that you can win. Let's all celebrate the M4 World Championship together with all your friends. And it looks like RRQ Akira has already brought their friends. My friends, Lafel and Jays, how y'all feeling?
I'm feeling actually pretty good because looking at both these teams, we got to look at the differences in terms of where they're really strong at. Because for Occupied Thrones, Maro as well as Leo has really been proving that they are way more capable in handling all these team fights and all the complicated macro coming in from the team. But we got to look at the team lineups because, again, I want to talk about RRQ Akira as well because the way that they play the game, we got to look at the different powers that they have in their team.
Yep, and with that said, we're just going to take a look at the starting lineup, right? RRQ Akira, Occupied Throne, are there any changes towards the roster? But I don't think there should be any because I feel like these are the best in slot, right? Saijin, Tekashi, Gustala Gusta, King, and Luis.
Waiting in the wings is Blink, who was once a flex mid or gold for RRQ Akira, but now is mainly helping out Coach Cabral with the draft.
Yeah, and speaking of which, right now we are looking at Occupied Thrones as well, where yesterday, I gotta say, they got a very difficult matchup as well, but they still made it work, and it is true Leo as well as Gato. So going up against RRQ Akira, I feel like it's going to be much more difficult for them to find those opportunities.
Yep, they're making their way on the stage. The MENA champions.
Occupied Thrones, looking to prove everybody wrong on M4 stage. Stacks. Odds are stacks against them, and they're looking to make us regret our votes.
Look at the stride. They're moving to the stage. They look happy. They look confident. They look like they're ready to crush it.
Representing the MENA region with players from Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Give it up for Occupy Thrones!
Looking to occupy that M4 throne. It is in their title, but it's up to their performance whether they can thrum against RRQ Nation.
Smile all across their faces. I don't think we gotta ask. I'm pretty sure that they are ready for this match.
Oh yeah, and here you can feel the Brazilian energy. Tekashi smiles. I love it when that young man smiles alongside Luis. You can't help but do the same.
Yeah, and the smile is infectious, the confidence is infectious, the motivation infectious, and of course, the crowd, my goodness me, is leaking through, and they are infectious as well.
That's Astro Thunder! That's Astro Thunder!
Walking in, full of swag, loving the energy, loving the crowd. Viva RRQ with making a lot of noise. They are feeling great.
Technically, you could say that this is their home court, right? I mean,
might as well.
With the RRQ name.
They are adopted.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, from Brazil, let's give it up for RRQ Akira!
Man, the fans had adopted them, integrated them. RRQ Akira, the fan base is cheering them on.
And making their way on stage right now with our esteemed referee, the authority in this current competition. We have Aditya Padilla, and flanking him are the coaches, Coach Cabral and Coach Mundo. X Factor, possibly, that's a Filipino coach for Occupied Thrones.
I feel like if there's any Filipino in your team, doesn't matter what role, he could be the owner. Just the owner itself is already quite the boss. Something about the Filipinos, man. But going into the game, again, when we're going to look at the line, we're going to look at a draft, I'm looking at Leo as well as Mauer for Occupied Thrones. For RRQ Akira, I'm looking at Saigon as well as Tekashi. Again, looking at how I would say both players for both teams, the way they start up the fight is different because, like you said, every single time when we're looking at an MVP, the setup and the payoff.
Two kinds of different players, right, that could make the difference. And here, we're going to need every single player to do the same. Head-to-head, looking at what RRQ Akira and Occupy Thrones are bringing. Obviously, Akira had a rocky start.
I would love to see more of that for sure from Team Mac because they really look scary if they deploy that hero. So those are the things
stronger early game control, but when it goes to the later part of the game control, Occupy Thrones, they have the advantage, but what I love about Occupy Thrones is their consistency. Just take a look, early game and late game, 33.3%.
But looking at the KDA ratio, they're very close, so it does show that both teams like to skirmish quite a lot, and not every skirmish will really result in what they really wanted. So going up against here, when both teams have the same mentality when they're taking the team fights, it could be very, very messy very, very quickly.
Yep, and them getting messy is a last choice. It's a worst case scenario because both are very good at the late game. RRQ Akira have modeled themselves after the M3 World Champion Blacklist International, while Occupy Thrones winning their MENA Grand Finals, becoming champions. All their games went past the 20-minute mark, so they're both very late game-centric teams. Now, what the world thinks is it's all for RRQ Akira.
This is the kind of scores that my mom expected me in my O levels.
For Akira.
For Akira. RRQ Akira.
Be clear.
All throughout the board, but we are getting some love back from the Occupy Thrones MENA as well, but it's still not too far apart. It's 58% versus 42%.
I have years of being on the desk, of being on the analyst stand, and I'm always not sure. Do you really want to be on the side of the predictions? Doesn't matter if it's talent. Doesn't matter if it's coming from the audience. Sometimes it feels good getting all the love. Sometimes you feel like, it doesn't feel good.
I feel you, man. Years on the desk and you've almost seen everything, but the truth is you never have seen everything. There's always that surprise, and we'll see here if that surprise comes, because look at the energy in Leo. Look at this young man. He stands at 6'10" tall, and again, in the map, in game, when he gets his hands on heroes like Fanny, like Ling, again, he seems like a giant.
Here's the thing. I like how they're taking this, because usually people are like, oh, it must be very intimidating when your opponent has the crowd on their heads, but they're like, no, we're riding it, we're vibing, we like the noise, we like the energy, so they're using the crowd for their own advantage as well.
It feels like you're taking the enemy buff for your own selves, and it's really interesting coming up from Occupy Thrones. That motivation as well, it's really infectious.
Oh, let's see how they use this momentum, this energy in game number one. It's afoot. The draft has begun. RRQ Akira on the play, blue side, banning out the Fanny and the Franco, while Occupy Thrones got that two-pick advantage. The clapback taking out the Joy and the Benedetta.
I like the fan signs like, yeah, Occupy Thrones for the victory. But yes, looking at the way that they're drafting, with the Franco being banned out, the annoying thing about the Franco is whoever gets it gets to dictate when the fight starts, as well as it kind of shows that you can't really get into a fight. So RRQ Akira, by banning out the Franco, I kind of feel like they're going to use the dive composition.
Yeah, but the fact that, I feel like RRQ Akira has done their homework very well. It is, of course, Maro very confident in the Franco pick, but this means that, you open up yourself to a lot more power picks, right? The Kaja, the Glue, well, you can see the carry getting taken out already by the side of RRQ Akira. There's also the Eve that's wide open. Occupy Thrones have a MCQ to answer.
Okay, so right now, looking at Occupy Thrones, the way that they're batting out, they're really focusing on Takashi, because now when I see Joy, let's just assume he's XP with the Glue as well. Like I said, so right now they're putting a lot of their ban eggs into a basket of Takashi, which leaves open the 1-1, and we've seen where Occupy Thrones, they nearly got stomped by the 1-1.
I mean, Astro Thunder, if you want to stop him, this is what you do, right? You corner him into a specific choice that maybe Hulk can take advantage of, and we'll see how they answer that. But at the cost of giving Gusta Lagusta 1-1?
Yeah, personally, what I feel like Occupy Thrones could do, they could immediately drop into a Kufra as well, but instead, Occupy Thrones opted for the Lapu opted for the Valentina as well. Usually, when teams first pick their Valentina, the main goal is, I want to control this draft, and all of a sudden, you're basically, your hero pool will get chunked down because you don't want to give too much ultimates over to the side of the Valentina.
And right now, RRQ Akira are ranked second in hero damage per minute, which, like I said again, they like to skirmish, and they like to skirmish hard, where whenever they want to take, say, any kind of neutral objectives, they actually take the fight first, which is something that we really have to put into consideration. With RRQ Akira following up with the Eve, as well as the Fredrid, it looks like they're going to have a lot of fight because this is a lot of control between the Fredrin as well as the Eve, and the damage, 1-1 can just deal it all day.
Yep, the GOAT, Coach Cabral, seems to have found the groove. He's playing a chess match against Coach Mundo, and I like how these two are picked up in this order, right? The Fredrin and then the Eve, because you still don't know where the Fredrin's going.
Fredrin could go into the jungle, could go in the XP lane. It's RRQ throwing that question over the side of Occupy Thrones. They're not really revealing every single thing in their cards just yet, but they've already revealed their game plan, right? I want to go to the late game with a 1-1, then of course set it up with the box, the real world manipulation. However, Occupy Throne can also do the same as well.
Okay, I want to start setting up the storyline for this game where I see the Claude here where I would say it's a very mixed bag because people with very high mechanical skills are able to use the Claude in a way that you're dodging a lot of the skill shots. But the thing is, with the Claude, you have a very low amount of HP, even amongst all of the marksmen here. So having this Claude, you're really having quite a risk in your own pick and ban. This is a very strong hero. Don't get me wrong, but it's very, very risky. And now they pick up a Kaja. I'm even looking at this. Is the Kaja really that well for them? Because Kaja picks someone off. Do they have enough burst damage?
Yeah, I think what Kaja could do, right? This ultimate meant to abduct. You want to make sure that, you know, you take away the second skill of the 1-1, abduct her all the way into the lovely hands of the stun. But then again, I think that's something that you cannot purify away, right?
Yeah, no, the problem for me is the fact that the Kaja is good when you're ahead. When you're behind, you're going to have to find mistakes that your opponent makes on the map. And against a team that's so well-oiled as RRQ Akira, that's rarely going to happen. And you mentioned the Claude, Lafell. You talked about how in the hands of Gado, it might take a while to build up. That makes the Kaja a non-starter. It's going to be an odd interaction. And now, the answer, foot's on the other shoe, or the shoe's on the other foot. Oh, mind my words. The Kaja gets answered by the Kufra.
Yeah, and right now it looks like we're finishing off the draft with the Nakai for Occupied Thrones. Now, I'm analyzing the draft right now, and it's going to be a very difficult game for the Kaja because, like you said, for a Kaja, you're kind of setting up the map for yourself because you want to have bush control. If you cannot control the bush, you can't actually get whoever you want to get. And if you don't have the bush control, you don't get to choose. And the thing is, it's hard to choose already. RQ Akira already having 3 very, very tanky frontliners.
And with that being said, the choice to give Leo here a Nakai is very Occupy Thrones, meaning that even in their grand finals of MPL MENA where they won their championship, this is a tendency. Just give Gado something that can carry with in the late game, and then just have the rest of the team try to buy time on the map. Jace, I have a bad feeling. I feel like RRQ saw this coming.
I don't know, man. I feel like if I'm Spider-Man senses are tingling, whatever is tingling. But you know what's tingling, everybody, ladies and gentlemen? The crowd is just cheering for RRQ Akira, affecting both of these two teams. Occupy Thrones, they're riding on it.
We're going into game 1 in this best of 3. It's the champions from MPL Brazil and MPL MENA. It's RRQ Akira going up against Occupy Thrones. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have to iron out a few kinks in the competition to make sure that our athletes get to have the best experience and put on the best show for all of us. Now, with that being said, a few more moments for us to digest what might happen.
So this is what I'm predicting and what we got to look out for. The first 2 turtles, because whoever gets the turtle buff, you have a small advantage to actually control the map in terms of controlling the bush. And again, like I said, this is very prime for Occupied Thrones. If they do not get any kind of mistake coming in from RQ Akira for the first 2 turtle picks, it's going to be very, very problematic for them. If RQ Akira, not only do they not get picked off, but they also establish a good solid ground inside the jungle of Occupied Thrones, then I gotta say, RQ Akira, they're gonna have a very good transition from mid to late game.
Yeah, but Lafell, I think at this level, at the best of 3 in the lower brackets, I don't think it's about, you want to count on your enemy's mistakes. I think you have to create the opportunities to allow the enemy to create mistakes, right? But at the same time, what I'm looking from the side of Occupied Thrones is the control in the mid lane. Valentina usually have a very strong early game presence and try to get ahead. But it's going up against a Yi, which has a lot of slows and also quite a good wave clear as well.
Based on the way that this discussion is going, it's a matter of Occupy Thrones moving much, much faster than we have seen them, both in the group stage and the knockout stage. And I don't know if that's possible. Again, even if our good friend Naisu says, they trained their minds out.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it was,
Whatever
right?
it was, yeah. We gotta...
See, you think about something too much, and you try your hardest, and the best performances come out.
Look
And that's what I'm afraid of here. The
Okay.
fact that Occupy Thrones is trying a strategy that isn't a sound.
Okay, so Jace was talking about you got to create your own opportunities.
Yep.
How you create that opportunity is with the Kaja. Now, let me remind everyone what they're working with. You got a Kaja that can pull someone in, but then the follow-up damage is going to be the Valentina, the Akai, as well as the Claude. In those first two turtles, will they have enough damage? But before that, let's look at the player head-to-head.
Now you brought up the fact that it's all leading up to, again, the two turtles helping out the core damage dealers, right? Pushing your strategy forward. And who do you have to expect to carry that burden? The gold laners, right? You have here Gado and Gusta Lagusta. Obviously, stats are skewed on over to Gusta Lagusta. And again, this is why I'm so worried for that Claude.
Another thing to worry about is that in a marksman matchup, a 1-1 going up against a Claude will usually take more time as compared to the 1-1. If the 1-1 knows how to play aggressively, she will be able to, walk around, play around with your weak points, and then win that trade. And you've also got a semi-peel for yourself at the same time. The Kufa will definitely linger around the 1-1 side to make sure that this 1-1 get a very good farm and good GPM, but take a look at looking at the head-to-head right now is leaning towards Gusta Lagusta with a 768 versus a Gado which is 626. Expect Gado, especially on the Claude, to play passively.
I would argue that this stats is not one-to-one because the way that their games have been progressing is very different, where RRQ Akira, they had very good matches in the group stages, and even though I would say Occupy Thrones had good matches themselves, but it really doesn't give the same results as RRQ Akira. So looking at the stats, I kind of feel like, yes, it shows that on average, Gusta Lagusta has been, rocking way more in terms of damage, in terms of gold, but I kind of feel like Gado, he still can match up against Gusta Lagusta, but the thing is, you gotta look at the movements. Who's really putting the pieces together? Who's pushing this there, getting this, getting that? I feel like that's gonna be the main thing, and that's why, again, I'm really focusing on the transition from the early to mid stages of the game.
And I think that's their main difference. You can argue about stats, how they're taken, what the sample size is, but the fact is, both these players are activated at different times in the game, right? Early game, you can expect Gusta Lagusta to come off. But for late game, Gado has never missed, right? Even with his Lunox, with his Beatrix, with his Claude, now in game 1, we're going to see exactly how that comes to fruition, all right? For reals this time. Let's do it. RRQ Akira versus Occupy Thrones. Mind the jungle rotations. It looks like it's a pure mirror. It's orange to orange.
Another thing that we also seen from other Kajas is that they need to establish that river control, right? You make sure that you know where the enemy jungle is. You protect your jungler from, any sort of invades. At the same time, though, I feel like both these two teams, taking a look, both these two roamers, focusing on the mid lane for now.
Right now, Fury is doing quite a lot of damage onto Saigon, and Luis is checking out where everyone is moving because as a Kupra as well as a Kaja, any cash heroes, doesn't really matter who, boost control is super important. Right now, Fury 77 is actually doing a lot more than Saigon is able to going up against Maro and Fury.
The best part about, the Valentina is that, yes, you can clump together, and that's where her passive comes into play, right? The more that you land these spells on top of the heroes, you gain more EXP. Just take a look. Just the difference in the EXP level. Saigon's skill is currently at level 2. Fury 77 has already hit level 3.
And that helps with Occupy Throne's plans.
Correct.
I'm guessing, because again, that's less pressure on Gado. Takash, though.
Oh, Fury 77 found Takashi, but the Char residue just makes him super tanky. He will be able to sustain out of this fight.
They're professional players. If that was me, I would have gone for it. But probably all the skills were in cooldown, and they understand they cannot lose early. So right now, good setup, but Gado not going to get caught by Lewis.
Oh, no. Leo spots that there's a little bit of pressure on his gold laner. Catches the Brazilian Heartbreaker.
Oh,
this could be
Lewis
dangerous.
gets hit to the wall. The flicker will be allowing Lewis to save his life. Occupy Thrones has ganked twice. None of them sticks.
All right, so again, full control from RRQ Akira, right? They are not shaken. they're not stirred for sure. And look at King, he's first on the scene, quickly pulling that turtle.
Yeah, 37-7 is something that we need to take a look at, right? You need to hit level 4 quickly, gain that real world manipulation.
And so far, he's just coming onto the scene. 4v4, pending, could it be? Turtle less than half health.
Maro is already level 4, he's trying to abduct, it's going to be the pressure that takes, but the real world manipulation, Leo takes the first turtle away, and they've already picked up their prize. The RRQ, Akira will punish them back.
First blood for a major objective. LaFell, was that worth it?
I honestly feel like it's worth it for RRQ Akira because that is what Occupy Trolls want. They want the first 2 turtles, and they understand. And like I said, based on the stats, numbers don't lie. They want to fight first, objective second.
Oh, the slow coming out from Sagan is actually helping him quite a lot. Maro and also Fury 77 will not be able to catch anything for now.
So now here's what I'm thinking, right? Half of your team wants to go aggressive. The other half wants to go get objectives. What's Occupy Thrones doing, right? Oh no, he's gonna get sandwiched!
Oh, Maro is gonna get absolutely sandwiched by the Akira Brazilian team. No way for Maro to get out there.
So now, Occupy Thrones, they gotta look at the map. They gotta understand their win condition. And it's slightly difficult because, like you said, they're a mishmash of everything. Where it's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of situation with the draft. So Hulk over here, going up against Takashi as of right now, yeah, sure, a lot of trades going on, but nothing really happening. Looking at what Occupy Thrones really should do is they gotta find a way to get inside the jungle of RRQ Akira. But based on draft, easier said than done.
Yep, and there's a cheeky emblem build on Leo. He has a little bit of damage and then didn't go full in on the cooldowns. So that might be something that comes into place.
Oh, it's going to be Sagan actually getting terrified at the same time. Maro jump all the way to the back line as well. The blazing duet from Gado shreds the back line of RRQ.
And King just walks away. RRQ Akira, they lose 1 and they're happy to at least survive. So again, this is the first time I've seen Gado so aggressive so early.
I mean, as an analyst, it's good to feel good, to get it right. Leo here fighting King, but not enough damage as of yet. Like I said, Occupy Thrones, what they want to do is they want to get inside the jungle of RRQ Akira because, again, bush control. I'm going to stress that until the end of the game.
Yep, this is the second turtle for now. It's got the members from the RRQ, so already set up base. Leo, on the other hand, doesn't have the ultimate, so they have to be careful. Louis jump all the way in. It's going to be Takashi in the Black Dragon form, looking for some off. Leo will be nowhere to be seen. RRQ Akira has full control of the turtle penalty.
Astro Thunder almost single-handedly winning that turtle for RRQ Akira. And now you see what that translates into. King's
Louis,
so confident in the back line.
Louis charging in about Maro might be the victim right here. It's going to be Louis that gets suppressed, but no follow-up coming up from Occupy Thrones.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? I want to talk about that turtle fight because in that fight, Leo did not have his Hurricane Dance, and this is also very dangerous where RRQ Akira, they're really looking at everyone's cooldowns, everyone's spells, and looking at the itemization over here, I would say everyone is optimizing their items. Sorry, God. They're having a lot of penetration as well as the necessary items to actually mitigate the damage.
Something interesting, right? Coming out from the club. But hold on a second. Louis bouncing around, trying to slow down Occupy Throne just a little bit, but it doesn't stick. But back to what I was pointing out. And looking at the items, Gado did not opt for the Swift Crossbow.
And that's something that we'll have to watch out for. Maybe his priorities are elsewhere. Because again, he's playing off kilter. This is a different timing. Gusta La Gusta.
House go in and he tries to smash. But it is going to be the 1-1 that takes into the air. But he managed to walk out alive.
I'm sorry, I'm an analyst. I cannot explain that.
I can.
Okay, sure. What's going on?
Lapu broken?
Yeah, no. It's the bravest fighter, and then it converts his second skill to damage reduction. He got extra shields, and that's what helped him survive against Gusta La Gusta. But the turret, not so much. It still sends him home.
It is going to be a turret trade right here for the top and the bottom. But it is going to be RRQ Akira focusing on the bottom side, where the next turtle will spawn.
Yeah, right now, again, RRQ Akira, they're kind of like almost checkmate here. They got the map under control. The way that their damage is coming up, they're going to have it soon. And it looks like an engagement coming in. It looks like King is not going to commit.
Nope.
Maradon is the one to use the ultimate as well.
Yep. So again, we're still seeing evidence of Occupy Thrones having different timings. And so far, that's what's leading to their stats just spiking up in damage taken. And Maro trying to make a play here for the turtle. It's free!
Oh, it's going to be Maro that will be slain for now. It's going to be Saigon actually going in with the real world manipulation at the same time. It's going to be Furry 77 unable to find his real world manipulation. Takashi coming in, finding Gado. Oh, a triple kill! Over to go to Saigon. Gusta Lagusta cleaning it up.
RRQ, they're setting it up very, very nicely. They're making sure Occupied Thrones don't actually move together. You guys can split up because in this kind of matchup, they could kind of take 1v1s all over the place because the way that they're setting up, okay, we're going to set 3 people closer towards the purple buff area. And again, Maro in this case, it's not that he doesn't want to catch anyone, but he doesn't have good choices in front of him.
And looking at the map, that clapback, that sudden turnaround. Again, the shields from the turtle could not have come at a better time. RRQ Akira just making the most of it, pushing all lanes in, mid, bottom to top, and they suddenly have a 4K gold lead.
The fates are definitely smiling for the Brazilian team, right? Everything is all pushed in. They picked up, 2 turtles right off the bat. Occupied Thrones only picking up 1. The mismatch of that tempo coming up from Occupied Thrones is a little bit confusing, and I think the caster, as we clearly point that out.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, right now, for Occupied Thrones, the weight is on the shoulder of Hulk. He right now, he already has enough sustain with the Bloodless Axe to hopefully go in, start the fight. Let RRQ Akira show their faces because without the knowledge of where everyone is, Maro cannot be activated. So for them to win a team fight, Hulk has to smash.
Yep, and Maro only has a dominance ice. There's really not much this Kaja can do, especially then when there's 2 or 3 members of RRQ Akira on you. And now a concealed play from Luis. Leo pops a heavy spin immediately. And the answer...
Heavy spin will be allowing Leo to pick up that kill, but it's going to be a trade for the objective, throwing that away. Reagan going in real world manipulation, cancelled it right off the bat for now. Occupied Thrones will be able to pick up 1 member for free for the time being.
Now the question, was that planned? The whole heavy spin plus Black Dragon form into a turret, was that worth it?
Looking at the reaction coming in from Occupied Thrones as well as RRQ Akira, I don't think that was really planned. It was just reactionary. It's like, I think he overcommitted, so I'm going to try my best to catch him. And that's why we see the pin wasn't really that clean, but it still got the job done.
I think the biggest problem from the side of Occupied Thrones is they don't have bush control. Just take a look how Lewis is just running from one brush to the other. Occupied Thrones, if they want to open that map, they need to walk in.
And that's why vision is so important. Again, Luis, as a traditional tank, a roamer, can just check in clear, clean, right, Maro? Given Kaja's current rework, he is partly tankier, has better sustain, but you can't beat a classic old bouncing ball in the bush, right? So I guess that's what's buying RRQ Akira all this space, all this vision, all of this clean engage, and now Luis stretching up. Oh, misses his target.
I think Maro can't really find any angles for this. But in the meantime, Lewis could simply charge up and just jump in there. But hold on a second, that's the target they're looking out for. Takashi, he gets pinned down the wall. Second trying to pull down the damage on the side. But look at the back line. It's going to be Lewis trying to make a play. Gado, he got caught. And now Gusta is all the way to the back line. Very flickers across the wall. Takashi, no, he's still alive. It doesn't matter because Saigon will be the one that brings down Leo on the top side.
Isolation, confidence, and pure brutality. Astro Thunder kept away Akai, kept away Leo, and bought that whole team fight for his squad.
This is why synergy is so important because let's make it simple. If you want to catch, you got to make sure you got enough damage and they don't have enough damage.
Oh no, 1-1 goes in the air. Gustav feeling Gustav after this.
And so far, they're doing so much. They're winning so much on the map. If they stayed maybe a second longer, that inhibitor up top would have been nada. And I guess they're just happy to start taking buffs, taking away major objectives. RRQ Akira turning the map blue.
Oh yeah, right now they're really controlling it well. 6,000 gold lead. And again, with the Kufra, you could engage. And the thing is, they will never know what's going on. And even though Kaja is technically a counter towards the Kufra, where it's like, okay, you go in, I'm going to pull you in even deeper. But it's really hard to do that when RRQ Akira, with their lineup, they could re-engage very fast. Takashi, King, they could go in just as fast, and even if they can't, Saigon could set it up. Everyone's slowed, everyone can come in as fast as just about anyone else.
And slowly, they're looking Oh, that Magic Sentry reveals the concealed play, so Occupy Thrones knows exactly what's up. Shenanigans afoot, not on my watch, says Occupy Thrones. That's a level 1 Lord marching up top, and look at how synchronized these waves are. Maybe a little bit off on the bottom lane, but that top lane inhibitor is going to be no more. RRQ Akira going for the siege.
Going for the siege right now. Takashi going in the black token form. He's looking for the backline. Meryl is about to run away. Hulk, anybody with free food over to this Takashi Dragon.
And bottom lane gonna slowly go away as well. Gusta La Gusta, the Wrecking Ball, smashing on through. Heavy spin!
Oh, Heavy Spin catches 2, but he has to duck out. The Red Wall Manipulation going in. Luis charges out, trying to look for the target as well. He's jumping to the call for now, but Gato outputting some free damage. RRQ, Brazil, they know the discipline. They finish up the objective, and they run away for free.
Right now, I gotta be critical because this is the point where we see it's not good to have conflicting ideas. When you catch someone, you want to kill them fast. If you want to kill someone fast, you need a lot of burst, not damage per second. So now it's really unsynergistic for Occupy Thrones, where you can catch someone, but who's gonna finish it off? You gotta set up, but you don't have the payoff.
Yep. Oh! Close. Oh, fast fingers on Gado. I totally agree, Lafel. By the way, the fact that minute 1 we walked in, we questioned the pacing. We questioned where is this going. It's like watching an action film, and it's always with the drama, right? Like you're wondering what's going on.
Yeah, they started with climax. And speaking of the climax, it has landed. Takashi all the way in the back line. Myra will be the first victim, followed by Hulk at the same time. The Realm of Manipulation, Gato nowhere to run and nothing to do. It'll be banned against RRQ.
RRQ Akira draws first blood, putting the MPL MENA champions up against the wall. It's match point.
Yeah, and again, this is a situation where the draft really matters because Occupy Thrones, individually, they have a lot of strong heroes. But they gotta understand, the 5v5, you gotta make sure that all of them can actually work together synergistically.
It feels like, you know, you're making a cake, but then you decide to add tomato sauce into it.
Nasi lemak.
Or nasi lemak into that cake, right? And it feels like Occupy Thrones want to do everything at the same time, but they can't really execute the main thing. But however, RRQ, there's so many secondary, tertiary engages, everything.
Now you talk to me about having ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah.
All right, this is the prime example of why you don't.
Okay. You know what? You win this argument, but again, RRQ Akira, it's one thing to make sure that you get into the game with a very good draft, but it's also another thing about the execution because we got to talk about the execution because, again, the way that they do it, Takashi goes in first. It's like, okay, I'm going to make sure everything is safe. Okay, it's all good. Everyone goes in.
Yeah, and again, a majority of this lineup has been playing together for so long, and that's what you get, these kinds of results. On behalf of Jays and LaFell, my name is Leo at your service. We're going to be throwing it over to the analyst stand. Let's see what they think of this first game.
Well, I'll tell you what we think about this game here, guys. It was quite exciting, but at the same time, you hear the band here, you hear the rally, and it's RRQ Akira just making a statement in game number 1, Trex.
Definitely a huge statement for RRQ Akira, and I feel like the side of Occupy Thrones just put too many eggs into the basket of Gato. Today, those eggs got crushed in game 1.
Yeah, unfortunately. It was a very conditional draft coming out from Occupy Thrones, at least in my perspective. They have to hit a lot of their shots. Surely, when you think about like the combo, you have the Valentina that didn't snatch any ultimate, Kaja ultimate, Blazing Duet, and of course the Heavy Spin. If you think about it, there's a lot of explosions there, right? But it's very difficult to pull off altogether.
That's one of the things, right? I mean, Claude is a great pick, but in comparison, Claude won one. And it takes a long time for that Claude to get to the point where that Blazing Duet is going to be a threat. And I mean, how many times, too, did we see even Takashi survive some amazing things?
Right.
And that was simply because a lack of damage coming out from Occupy Throne. So, you know, unfortunately, it was tough to even get back into that game with such a lack of items and gold. And I mean, in just a second, we're going to be looking at the item build so we can even look at it further from this standpoint. But still, I mean, talking about pacing, economy, and spacing, it was just really in favor of RRQ Akira from start to finish. And Occupy Thrones are definitely going to want to do something as they get ready for that game number 2. Here are the items, though, Trex. Anything that sticks out specifically for you?
Well, I think the most general point of this is when you invest into that bulky composition, you need to make sure the gold lead does not escape you, because as it does, you're not able to defend against the burst damage that Brazil brought, right? And it just becomes a problem. And once that gold lead, I mean, by the end of the game, it was almost 10,000. And that defensive composition just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, King and Luis, if you think about it, look at their look at their itemization, right? They prioritize anti-ramp kind of damage, like the dominant ice, as well as like the radiant armor, as well as the blade armor. All of these combined, they make a very tanky and a very bulky front line that the Occupy Throne's composition cannot deal with. Because you're thinking about it, if you go for the Valentina as well as the Claude, even when they're AoE, they're still like damage in the front lines, or frontal damage, for lack of a better term. So once you don't get through the front lines of RRQ Brazil, you don't have much left in the tank. Occupy Thrones needed a lot of items for them to come through, and RRQ Akira did not let that happen.
And I mean, even if just you take a look at these stats here for the game as a whole, right? Gusa Lagusa was able to profit very well in that 1-1 like we expected. But again, Trex, it's the Kufra pick time after time here, really playing a role for these teams.
Most definitely. Take a look at Louise, the forgotten one, 11 total assists and a 79% team participation rate. And honestly, he's just that hero that has crept back into the meta now. And it's exciting to see. I miss not being able to see him for so long. And taking a look at everything, I mean, just dominating over the board from damage dealt to taking the turrets. I think by the end of that game, OT was only able to secure, what, two turrets? Two or three turrets?
Yep. That's really, really bad. When it comes to the Turtles, though, they were able to get one at least, but it's kind of like RRQ Brazil or RRQ Akira still was in control of most of the game. They gave away objectives that they don't need because they wanted to make a better trade. For example, when they go for a turtle, they traded for 2 more turrets afterwards. Then, yes, you saw in the previous game, it's a lot of like early game control that you saw coming out from RRQ Akira, which was attributed to the fact that they have an easier draft in a way, at least in the early stages. So as good as it is to look at Occupy Thrones' draft, when you theorize what it could happen in theory, I mean, in practice, it's very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, and I mean, with all that, MVP of this game is going to be none other than King here on this Fredrin pick. We've seen him pop up so many times in the jungle and how useful it is for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and I think the final nail in the coffin there was that blade armor that you pointed out earlier, Wolf. I mean, that was like the final thing to nullify anything that Claude could do. At that point, it's like, all right, GG's, well played. Let's focus on the next game. Such a clutch pick there.
There was no actual shred coming out from Occupy Thrones, and I always talk about this kind of factor when you have your marksman for sure. It can deal the damage, but you don't really go in from second one until the end of the team fight, right? You want to wait for your timings. That is where you need some sort of poke or some sort of shred, and that wasn't seen from the side of Occupy Thrones. That's why King actually had a great time this game.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much just able to roam around the map, focus on objectives. That's all he really needed to do here. I mean, that's what we saw. And again, as the game progressed, those objectives just built compound interest for RRQ Akira.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't play it too aggressive. Like, there wasn't many invades. He never really went into the enemy purple buff, into the enemy orange buff in that first 5 minutes. They knew the job. Get a little bit of a gold lead in that first 5 minutes, get some objectives, and then as we go into the mid game, that's when they strike.
Well, again, it was just able to allow Gusa Lagusa to be online.
That's right. It's wonderful to watch because if you look at it once again, they wait for their ultimates to be up. For example, Takashi, I can only see like literally one time where he defensively used his ultimate, but almost all the time they're clumping up together. They're utilizing the strength of their teamfight composition, not letting the Valentina get a good ultimate up or a snag, right? So it was really just RRQ Akira masterfully winning the teamfights because of their timings.
That's the other thing that was a big question for me was you have the Akai for OT, but then you're trying to play around that Blazing Duet too.
That's right.
And a lot of times what ended up happening is they pushed away from the Blazing Duet. But again, that was game number 1. We still have one more game ahead of us, possibly. It's match point here for RRQ Akira. Can we extend the series? That's what we're going to have to see. Casters, take it away.
Take it away, we shall. And back to the desk we are. At your service, my name is Leo. This is LaFell, and that's Jays. And we're about to head into the second game in this best of three, possibly the last one. LaFell, what do you think is going to happen?
Okay, what I think is going to happen is that Occupy Thrones, they're going to have to pay attention towards the ban a little bit more because, again, the ban kind of dictates what's going on because they banned out the Franco, which shows that they're going for a dive composition. When you're going for against a dive composition, you have two choices. Either fight fire with fire and have a dive yourself, or trying to use a composition that really likes to bait things out, and then you go back in.
I think the fact that, Occupy Thrones, yes, technically a Franco can act, Kaja can act like a Franco as well. You saw how some of the Kajas that other teams have been played, right? You dive, and then after that you start to drag. But then at the same time, you get that pick off, but you don't have the full stop. You don't have enough damage to burst the person that you duck away. At the same time, there's a lot of opportunities that RRQ could do everything. Like, you drag a Fredrin into your, that's basically a gap closer for him, and then taunts everybody.
I hear you, and both of you, very solid points. But I think it was RRQ Akira who banned out the Franco. They know that Maro is lethal on the Franco, bro.
Yeah,
and they even took the Kufra away from him.
Yeah, the thing is, they banned out the Franco because they want to dive. They got a Yuzong. They got, okay, hold on, let me just check my awareness. They got a Yuzong, they got a Fredrin, and if the Franco is on the other side, it's going to be a problem. So they ban it out. So they got to figure out, okay, they're banning this. Why?
They can try to be on blue side. I'm talking about Occupy Thrones. And then maybe from there they figure it out. Something to note again. Game 1, Occupy Thrones dedicated so much. You could say maybe 4 out of 5 bans just to stop Tekash.
Yeah, let's just take a look at the hero pick recap right here, right? You can see RRQ, the damage is just outstanding, like stongs. A compounding, increment with Gusta Lagusta as well as Saiyan. On the other hand, if you look at Occupy Thrones, yes, Agado a little bit shy, but it takes a bit of time for him to get, the gears running, and that slow start could be the problem in game number 1 for Occupy.
Sorry, screenshot this, but Tekashi and Hulk have the exact same damage dealt. 2-0, 3-0-1. The exact same.
How does that happen?
How does that happen?
I feel like I could buy a lottery number with this.
Right? Okay, but here's the thing. Looking at the players going up against each other for mid as well as gold lane, it's very clear that they dealt a lot of damage. But the thing is, how was the damage really dished out? Because again, looking at the Claude is very spread out. Looking at the Valentina is also very spread out. So here's the thing. Keep it simple. You want to catch someone, it's like a single target burst, right?
Correct.
If you're going to fight it out, you're going to like bait things out and have a lot of DPS, have a lot of AoE damage, be responsive to what's going to happen.
I think the age of having so much coverage is over. We're at the point where if you want to do something good, you want to do well at something, you focus on it. And I think that's something that Occupy Thrones, with the leadership of Coach Mundo, should have done in the reset.
Yeah, now, back to the drafting point as well in a few seconds. Is back to the blueprints, right? Occupy Thrones, looking back at the archives. What are the kind of heroes that they want to draft going in?
Give Leo the Assassin.
Give Leo the Assassin could be an interesting point.
No.
Yeah.
Try to get a link. If you can't get a Fanny, try to get a link. Because, again, what won you games? Leo won the Assassin. Give him an Assassin.
Something interesting to point out as well, sorry Leo, is that RRQ has banned out the Fanny and the link.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Hey, wait, no.
They did.
They banned out Fanny first phase.
Yes, and then Haya Ling second.
Yeah.
So they could have prioritized this.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Correct. I think Occupy Throne just doesn't really know how to prioritize this pick, but we got to take a look at the draft.
Yep, going into game 2, this is where decisions are going to be made, possibly feelings hurt, but games are won and lost off of what is going to go down. Here we go. Once more, RRQ Akira on the play. I was expecting to switch up here, but no, they're doing the same thing. Franco and Fanny taken out, and then Occupy Thrones banning out the carry and the glue.
I kind of feel like they understand, is it really worth banning all EXP laners for Tekashi? Because I kind of feel like he had an entire year to basically train all of the meta EXP laners and then some.
I think the best part is that I think RRQ identifies the mission right here is just to basically ban away the Fanny, ban away the Franco, ban away the Kaja, which Maro used in the previous game, Occupied Thrones will trade that ban with a 1-1 ban, but this opens up to the Joy.
And there you go. Astro Thunder still gets his hero anyways. The Joy comes through. And mind you, this is still a flex. We have seen King play this.
Here's the thing, right? Joy, like, it started off very slow, but now it's really catching steam. 1-1 is #1 in pick and ban rate with 100%. Gee, I wonder why.
Man, like, 1-1 super broken, especially when she gets into the air, spreads all the damage all across the board. But even with the recent nerfs, it's still not enough.
Looking at this, right? So Valentina picked up again. When I see a Valentina, I think of control. I think of team fight. So I'm looking at the draft from Occupied Thrones. I want to see a team fight composition.
Yep. We're looking sure that, Occupied Thrones will pick up a team fight composition. First ingredient for that team fight composition is a tanky frontline. There you go. That's the Fredrin going in. Don't feel for the carry at all because, Occupied Thrones has always already banded away. Now, I think the biggest question from the side of RRQ Akira, where is this Joy going to be? Because Jungle Joy doesn't look as delicious anymore. It feels like a EXP Joy is the way to go right now.
Yeah, okay, so I agree. Let Joy be there. So I feel like in this situation, don't pick up a clear-cut jungler just yet because you said as well, King can use this hero. So wait until the end of the draft to make a decision. With Eve as well as Cho picked up, this is a very strong dual mid lane because they can have a lot of control because yes, Cho is a catch hero, but the thing is, because of his Jit Kundo, he has AoE crowd control as well. So this is actually a good answer towards a possible team fight composition where you have a lot of control in the slows with the Eve as well as the knockups with the Cho.
Yep, and this leads into the current storyline, the path, the narrative for both coaches drafting is everyone's non-committal except for Coach Mundo, who picked up on what we were saying. You gotta give Leo an assassin, and at first I thought they were gonna, take this to their grave, flex that Fredrin until the very last minute, but no. Leo said, Coach, look at me, I need the assassin.
Yeah, I need the assassin, goes for the higher. Preferably, I prefer the Link because you got the global map presence, but I mean, as long as Leo is comfortable on this assassin, that's great. Now, your biggest target that you need to look out for is definitely that Eve. You want to try to land the shadow kills on top of the Eve, burst them down, but then again, there's also that tricky part, right? Joy can always take the aggression from the shadow kill and then run away with it.
So that's why the way that I'm looking at drafts right now, if you're picking up an Hayabusa, what's the follow-up is going to be very important because you need someone to isolate absolutely anyone, right? So and you got to make sure that you get to dictate how people are isolating yourself because throughout this M4 World Championship, you can't really rely on your opponent to isolate themselves from their own teammates. So you need someone to force it out. Again, Akai is not good here, but I'm thinking of something like an Akai where you don't get to choose where you're going to be at, and then the Hayabusa could take control. So I'm looking at the draft. If they can pick anyone that isolates someone from RRQ Akira, because you're saying that the target is the Eve. How can you be sure the Eve will anyways be alone?
It doesn't even have to be isolation in the fact of an ult, right? It doesn't even have to be the fact that I can, through my skills, do that. It can be just the nature of the hero. So I'm also looking at possibly a Kufra. The Kufra is solid looking right now.
Your team is picking.
I definitely agree, but it's going to be the Lunox being picked up by the side of Occupied Thrones. I feel like the Kufra should be there in game number 1, but it got slipped away. But RRQ Akira will confirm that Rudy for Gusta Lagusta. Now the question is that the Lunox gold lane?
I think so. I personally think so.
Yeah, it is.
Because I don't think anywhere else she should be because the Valentina is definitely a way better mid laner and they're finishing off with the Hilda, so kind of isolating because you're pushing people away.
Yeah, and you're going in the bushes before they do, so when they check in, oh, no, not here. So you scramble your opponents. I see the concept, and now as an overall draft, looking at Occupy Thrones, what they have brought to the table, it looks better, but if there is one thing I have to nitpick is the fact that they left Gado again in that very, very late game island.
Yeah, very late game island, and looking at the draft coming in from RRQ Akira, they're actually drafting in a way they could possibly end the game without even fighting, because they can just push everyone away from neutral objectives and have Brody shredding on those turrets like no one's business.
That's correct. Brody is a very heavy, hard hitter. Yes, in my opinion, Brody is not really good at team fights, but when you have that Yi to spread out this box, you have the threat of the Cho to come in and Jeet Kune Do, you have the threat of the Lapu Lapu with the Various Warrior, the Brody could just free hit that turret out of control.
Let's see if the plans will come through for either of these teams, because one of them's going home tonight. This is game 2. It's match point for RRQ Akira going up against Occupy Thrones.
Yeah, looking at this game right now, again, I want to see how both roamers are actually going to do their thing, because as the Hilda right now, King is on the Joy. I want to see if the Hilda is going to put a lot of pressure. Maro is here giving pressure, but unable to really secure the buff. So right now, he's just going to run away.
I mean, it's going to be King zipping, zapping around, but Maro, looking a little bit low. The regen kicking in right here. Lewis, the Jeet Kune Do doesn't connect for now. Maro will walk away, but King uses the retreat.
Oh, difficult situation. I think RRQ Akira committed a little bit too much to trying to get Maro down, and I think that's mission accomplished. I think Occupy Throne should be happy for that first minute.
I agree. They really should be happy. So now, what's next? Because looking at how Maro is playing, slowing down Akira's rotation is actually quite key. But then, what's next? They gotta wait for Leo on this Hayabusa to look at all the information that he has. Okay, Maru, where are they? 3 people around the bottom side of the map. Okay, I'm gonna go top. I'm gonna secure a kill.
Yeah, a lot of brush control right here. It's going to be Maro diving all the way to the back line. King zipping, zapping around once again. No ultimate. I think they're just going to touch and go.
And this is something that RRQ Akira took advantage of in game 1, right? The fact that Occupy Thrones had no vision. They had to, again, just in the most savage way, check in with Maro's life on the line, but now Maro can just run away.
Yeah, okay, Maro is looking at a good situation, but looking at both sides of the map, I'm looking at EXP as well as gold lane. In terms of damage, I kind of feel like you got more damage around the gold lane. So I kind of feel like if they do want to dive, if they do want to get some kind of engagement, they got to go there. But it looks like right now they're starting up a fight around Turtle.
King is hovering around the turtle pit. Maro opening it up. Lewis trying to scout around for pickups. If they have to let go of the turtle, it's going to be resetted for now.
Wow, the respect from both teams is like, okay,
man.
I understand what you're putting on the table, and I fear it, and I respect it, but who's going to pull the trigger first? King just working on this turtle still. Tekashi jumps into the back line. Knocked up by Hulk. Oh, it started.
Oh, he's going to be starting right now. The turtle will be slain by King. It's Tekashi with the Barbarous Warrior. Leo nowhere to be going. But, he's able to slip all the way. Leo, only 1 HP. Lewis has to burn the flicker at the same time. The kick going in as well. King is just wrecking havoc.
Yeah, that I was surprised. I thought he died as well, but I guess he managed to use his ult on time to actually run away from the fight. But look at this, Occupy Thrones. King is getting... Look at Maro, yes! Maro's chasing.
He's chasing.
King is there,
Ultimate,
and he got it.
He will be traded by Sagan. I mean, is this worth it?
I think it is, honestly. Anytime a roamer dies for a jungler and you're close to parity, keep doing it.
Right now, I'm looking at the items, and again, I'm gonna stay with my point. If they actually want to get kills, I kind of feel like this is weird, this is uncharacteristic, but they got to go towards the gold lane for both teams. I mean, because Brody early game actually has a lot of damage. In fact, look at this Blade of Heptases. He has the damage. So right now, both teams Occupy Thrones. I kind of feel like just go up in gold lane.
But neither team are thinking that. Maro is pressuring mid and bottom. I think it comes down to turtle spawn, right? Like they still want to help build that up. And again, here you'll see how the timing, again, is so different for Occupy Thrones, because they want to make sure Godway is ready, but wait, they catch Maro.
Oh, Maro, the kick going in as well, but it's a sideway kick. Look at the edge of the real one manipulation. Maro, he walks away like a boss.
I mean, I guess this is why Malaysia likes Hilda, because so annoying. You think you got the kill, but the moment there's a bush there, you kind of always forget how much healing you get from that.
The level of knowing how to balance out the damage from the Maro's Hilda is just way too crazy. And now Gato building in with a clock. Let's take a look at the emblems.
Yeah, looking at the emblems, right now, it looks like Leo understands. For some reason, Hayabusa needs a little bit more damage, so he's sacrificing a little bit of his movement speed for the damage. And right now, Luis is going up against Maro, and it looks like Maro is winning the trade. Roamer against Roamer violence.
Again, the fact that they're playing with a Lunox just shows that they're willing to make sacrifices, and it's a full-on engage.
Shadow kill going in at the sweet time. Gustavo has to run away. Now here comes Ferrari 77. Real own road manipulation. Gusta just walking around, but will get shut down by Ferrari 77. Luis kick Maro all the way back to no man's land. Saigon will pick that up. It's a 1-for-1 trade.
Again, Maro for anyone from RRQ Akira is a good trade, especially since Gado's not suffering just yet. Hey, they put an assist on that gold laner.
And I just like looking at the fight around the goal lane, so now they're freeing things up a little bit. Fury 77 got the
purple?
He protected the purple.
Oh, wow.
It's on him instead of King. So again, that's a check for Occupy Thrones in the mid-game.
Everything is going superbly well for Occupy Thrones in a very awkward way. RRQ Akira, I don't know. Everything is looking slightly okay for now in terms of the goal lead. Super even.
Oh, you hear that? Conceal Luis looking for an engage, but Maro spots him again. The vision game making the difference.
Yeah, the Hilda is just so annoying to deal with. No wonder everybody hates her.
Yeah, a lot of people hate her, and right now, looking at the items, we got to look at the Eve, where the Brute Force Breastplate has been picked up. So, for Occupy Thrones, if they do want to catch someone out, they got to make sure that they see this item first, because you're going to have to... You have to invest a little bit more into that.
Yep, Real World Manipulation going in, zoning out Maro away, but the cake will be there. Try to sell something. Look at how tanky Maro is, but it's going to be the peel coming in. But Maro, he's still alive though. Nowhere for Maro to run finally. The squirrel jump, and he has to fall on the ground someday.
Close call. If only this was maybe 2 or 3 minutes into the game more, then maybe Gado would have gotten a kill or two. But at least they're just trading Maro. Maro's more than happy to be of service to his squad this way and eventually get them to the late game where they're more comfortable. Something I want to talk about. Saigon is owning mid. Saigon, the fact that he hasn't really left this lane as much, is at least keeping RRQ Akira in a small lead. Again, that's 1,000 gold.
But King, Maro scouts out King for now, but it's going to be the turtle that's already spawned. Occupy Thrones currently working on purple buff for now. Maro's going to engage in and jumping out, but Tekashi going in the back line. The Bravest Warrior activating on Furry 77 and 12, but it's Furry 77 responding with the Bravest Warrior, and now they have to run away. The Shark Kill going in, finding Luis, but he has to bite out. Furry 77 still on the run as well, just biking out, chucking it down. Leo coming back, taking the turtle away.
Oh, bodies are falling, Luis for
Fury,
no, and it's
not done yet. Occupy Thrones putting pressure on enemy's wound and peeling it apart.
If we see an instant replay, we can see how Occupy Thrones is actually isolating people from RRQ Akira, because that's what we were talking about. You got to find a way to isolate members of RRQ Akira to make sure that Neo has optimized damage. Now, the way they do it is kind of weird, because Shadow Kill to put everyone together, and once everyone is together, then they start isolating people. So, reverse order, but it still works out.
It's isolation
by
with more steps.
Exactly.
It's like, we come together and then we isolate and then we come together again. Occupy Thrones, I think the way that Maro has been playing this Hilda is actually making so much sense. Opening up the map, everyone somehow is scared of the Hilda.
With the way that Maro had stepped up, originally they had a different shot caller. It was their mid laner previously, Joke. But now it's Fury 77. Maro had to come into the leadership role, and here he's making all the difference. He shrank that gold lead previously about 1,000 and change. Now it's OT who's actually owning the map.
And look at this, the main damage dealer, Lunox, as well as the Brody, already having 2 core items. I would say if they want to fight, this is the time to fight, because you gotta engage the Brody before he gets his Blade of Despair. Once that is online, this is a very scary Brody. Lunox, just by having 2 items, right? Lightning Truncheon as well as the Clock of Destiny, you can already wreak havoc.
And thinking of the possibilities, right? We really haven't seen the full potential of Gado just yet. He can even survive when King tries to dive him. But so far, RRQ Akira have picked up on it. Hey, Occupy Thrones are owning more of the map. We should watch out. Tekash tries to engage, cancels it. Oh, no, Leo!
It's so hard to see Hayabusa just jumping in back and forth like that. Leo, super slick on this. This is the assassin that he's comfortable with. Maro gets slowed down by the E for now. Leo, he actually catches Gusta, but have to run away. Look at how much Gusta hurts.
Look at this. It's very crazy, but Luis gets a kick.
Luis got a K for 7-7, actually blowing down the real one manipulation. Icon following suit, but it gets cancelled by Hawk at the same time. Torn apart memory, not tearing people apart. Front side, Occupy Thrones. It's going to be Leo going into the shadow kill all the way to the back line. King looking to reload the Shuriken there to finish the King off. Hawk will be there to say hi to Takashi. Backs off because Occupy Throne pick up a good kill.
Look at the way Occupy Thrones is approaching the fight. Leo is the one engaging. He's giving the idea, I'm going to use my Ogi Shadow Kill. And that forces the members of RRQ Akira to actually move together.
Up Meryl running away, running for the hills at the same time. He's super fast. RRQ Akira cannot catch up.
He is just zooming on throughout the map. He's been doing this since minute 1 in Fury 77. Answers.
Real world manipulation goes in again. Saiyan has to back off.
Something tells me Occupy Thrones needs to go a little faster. The fact that they took the Lord in under 10 seconds, they should just take advantage of the lead.
And like I said, Lunox really just needs these 2 items, and Leo really showing that he's training his brains off because he's not really committing, but he's making RRQ Akira think, I could commit, but will I commit? And that's really ruining RRQ Akira's in the way that they want to position themselves around the map.
Yes, and that's what RRQ Akira has been doing so well. In the games that they win, it's their pace, it's their tempo, and Occupy Thrones, their off-kilter way of playing the gold laner and assassin roles are throwing them off, and they're starting with a quad shadow into a shadow kill.
Quad shadow kill, gotta go all the way in, backline as well, but he's gonna get chunga all the way in. Gonna be, oh no, is Gato still alive, going into Burnins as well. Burns 7-7, pick up a double kill at the same time. It's gonna be Occupy Thrones, cracking over the mid lane for now. It's gonna be the secondary engage coming up from Leo. King coming in to trying to make things work, but Hope super tanky. Burns 7, but look at Maro. He's here with the ultimate. How King's down the King.
1-4-3. Say what you will about a gold laner being traded for 3 members, but they're converting out of their minds a top lane tier 2 plus a tier 2 in mid.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen a support assassin? That is Leo right there. The Shadow Kill, more of like a fake engagement tool, and he is super sleek. Shadow Kill once again, all the way through dodging Takashi, but he will fall, unfortunately. But there is so much time being bought by Thrones.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen a better example of a caster curse? The moment he talks about a player, oh, this guy's good. Oh, he got sacrificed. Speaking of which, Luis gets a kick on tomorrow.
Kick not tomorrow, but where's the follow-up coming out? King is actually jumping around. He's have to go in with the ultimate, but it doesn't connect. Occupy Thrones know they're 1 member down. They have to disengage.
Look at that fat wave that Occupy Thrones have left down bottom. Gusa needs to clean some house. So again, at least we're seeing some effects of Occupy Thrones. I'd rather say exotic tempo, right? It's throwing RRQ Akira off their own pace, and that's what explains this 4K, maybe 3.5K gold lead at 12 minutes.
Here's the thing, you gotta make sure your opponent doesn't know your next move. Speaking of which, another move that's happening!
It's gonna be a disaster happening in the mid lane. Barrel desperately trying to run away, take a real manipulation. Gato, whoa, get artillery strike from the sky. 2 members from the side of Occupy Thrones has gone down in a very unfortunate moment.
2 for none. RRQ Akira are shrinking this gold lead, and this Lord is looking dangerous. It's luminous.
Yeah, right now Luis is really saying, Tempo is like, okay, you know what, enough of this. If I see absolutely any of you, I'm going to catch you off guard, and my team is going to follow up. A concealed play is happening. Is anyone going to get sacrificed?
Oh, Lord, at less than half health. Luis's eyes on Maro. Hulk not even going to get any closer. King is going to retribution that Lord to oblivion, and RRQ Akira back in this game.
Yes, RRQ Akira definitely will be regaining a lot more control, a lot more goal momentum as well. But hold on a second, Hulk. Oh, King, he gets terrified as well, but he's to be able to dash out alive. But for instance, they say, no, I'm going to pull you down with a flicker first skill.
Any other team would have waited for the rest of their members to come on and then made a plan, but not Occupy Thrones.
I gotta say, looking at both these teams right now, I think they're playing with emotion. They're not really like, all right, this is the strategy. It's like, no, me angry, me fight.
Me kill.
me kill.
Me Hulk, just literally what Occupy Thrones doing right now. Leo going in. I don't know what he can do against Gusta though. Wind of Nature will be activated but now, but will go into nothing but Occupy Thrones. Oh! Memory! Tears the Hayabusa up!
me find Brody.
Me kill. That's how single dimension right now Occupy Thrones has evolved into. But it's going to be RRQ Akira gaining control. This game has devolved into something very crazy.
Yep, this is going to be a difficult defense for Occupy Thrones now that RRQ Akira has regained part of the map. They have a very small lead. Vision, though, Occupy Thrones knows a little bit more. Oh, successful lore defense, but wait!
Lewis, he's kicking for 7-7, right to the real one manipulation. Just buying some time. Takashi just slashing down Occupy Thrones. Maro will be the victim, and now it's going to be Takashi just buying some time to try to push down, using the minions, trying to land on some turret damage, but Occupy Thrones successfully defends for now.
I gotta give it over to Leo, not Occupy Thrones Leo, Caster Leo, because you called it out. Occupy Thrones, they should have fought a little bit faster because now RRQ Akira, they got the tempo back on their own field based off Lewis saying, guys, I had enough, let's go.
Yeah, of course, the real man, Malaysia and Gado is out of the fight for now. He has to go back and reset. Look at how, taking half HP. Leo, what are you doing? Right into the shadow kill, but he's actually doing something well. Maybe I push RRQ Akira all the way back, but the stun coming in. The Wind of Nature activated the handful. Ultimate misses. Gusta Lagusta, he likes it as Furry 77 replies with a revenge.
1 for 1, both key members of both the squads. Luis gonna make it home safely. Maro still looking for bodies again. It's that savage, that instinctive, that very intrinsic way of playing Mobile Legends still on display here in this 16-minute bout. Let's take a look at the items.
Here's the thing, I thought the Brody had a Blade of Despair. He's like, no, I totally have way more than enough damage because now he has the Demon Hunter sword, so he has extra attack speed. So if anyone wants to tank, they can try. They legit can try, but they won't be able to get away with it. Looking at the itemization, he has the answer towards the Lunongs. He has the answer towards the Hayabusa. So it's counterintuitive, but maybe don't go for the Brody first. Take members one by one, leaving him alone, and then go for it.
And that's way too many decisions, I believe, for Occupy Thrones to make right now, given the sudden clapback that RRQ Akira put on the board. Permanent damage to their mid, to their top, and now they force an ult from Gado.
Oh, that may be big.
Oh
and now
my
Gado
God.
will get kicked right into real woman base. Look at Leo in the background. Lucas activating the Wind of Nature at the same time. Leo to chase, but Lucas has proven super slick as well. And now Leo is the one that has gotten from the hills. It's going to be the assassin on the run right here, the king. But oh, Leo, where is he going? I don't know where, but it's going to be the Windnets. The Windnets coming out from RRQ Akira. And Occupy Thrones have to go back and try to defend. But no, RRQ Akira is showing them they want to make sure that Occupy Thrones doesn't go back for the fight.
Oh no! Those minions are getting cleared though. The fight is still continuing. Hulk still alive, torn apart memory, taking down the Fredrin.
Taking down the Fredrin as well. 37-7 respawn just in time. It's going to be 3 members. Sega doesn't really have the ultimate as well, so he is going to be cleared up by 37-7. That is an emergency situation.
You know what? This game just got turned out to be so much fun. Gado 0, 3, and 4. He's looking for his moment. He's looking for that opportunity. But because he's looking for that opportunity, Luis sees him first and be like, you can go into brilliance, I can still catch you, dude.
That's why they call him the Brazilian heartbreaker, right? Like, you want to do something and you're so sure you can, but Luis just says, no, not on my watch. Let's take a look at this Lord. It is indeed evolved, ladies and gentlemen, so it has that extra ability. It can help clear waves, hurt opponents on the defense, all the worse. And again, at least Occupy Thrones, they have Maro here in this Pixel Brush. I wonder, how can they find a catch?
So much bush control here from the side of RRQ. Occupy Thrones, they do have some form of bush control, but Leo is super ballsy right here, trying to look for any form of person to shadow kill as well. But Occupy Thrones has a very wide open base. They have to stem that bleeding for now. RRQ Brazil will start that Lord.
In this fight, look at Luis. He's looking for it. He's looking for Gado. He's looking for Leo. He's dictating the fight. If no one touches Gado in this up-and-coming fight, it could be all Occupy Thrones. If Luis catches him, there's going to be trouble.
Oh, Astro Thunder not letting go. Oh, finally the Lord gets reset. But look at this, the Y bush to the east. Huge presence from Occupy Thrones there. Oh, RRQ Akira gonna commit, conceal play.
He's looking for a concealed play as well. Hawk will be the victim for now. It's got all the members of the RRQ Wolf climbers in it. But Furry 77 is actually running ground. Hawk trying to buy some time, but not enough. It's got to be Furry 77 jumping all the way in. Second has to run for now. Meryl does have the king, but the king is actually trying to dish a dash. Gustav Lucas is finally joining the fight right now. Just like hard damage. RRQ Brazil definitely carrying. And then there was Slade on Furry 77 and Gado at the same time. There is no way for Meryl to follow them.
2 for none so far, and RRQ Akira happy with the results. No free lord for neither squad. They both have to reset. 2K goals lead for the boys from Brazil.
Small mistake by Gado just now, but hold on, this could be a bigger mistake by King. He went inside a 1v2.
As time goes by, the amount of mistakes that you'll start to make will escalate. Takashi already using the ultimate now, but it's going to be Leo. Oh no, he get caught. Gusta Lugusta, he is here. The real one manipulation, the winter truncheon going in. The quad shadows, not enough.
Too much to expect Leo to survive that. That's basically all the surviving members of RRQ Akira looking for revenge for their fallen jungler. Now, as quickly they turn to the Lord.
Okay, here's the thing, Occupy Thrones. You got 2 members going up against 4. How ballsy are you to go in? Because right now Lewis is going for Maro. Looks like they're abandoning the Lord. They're going for a fight.
They're going for the fight as well. Gunner going in all the way into Brilliance. We'll start this out. Hulk is actually going in as well. Gets slowed infinitely. Real one man division going in for 77. Holding on to the ultimate of the Lapu Lapu. Instead, Occupy Thrones. This Lord fight has gone on way too long.
Numbers don't lie. We said it before the game even started. RRQ Akira, if they see Lord, if they see members of the opponent team, we're going for the opponent team. We like fights a little bit more. But right now, they're securing the Lord for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
No way Occupy Thrones can get it. King secures it.
Yes.
Jays, this is what they call a Lord dance. All right, this happens about 4 or 5 times per game in a Filipino match in the MPL. And I have to say, RRQ Akira have done so well to orchestrate it, and Occupy Thrones did their best to respond. And that's why it lasted so long. We were originally looking at an 18-minute Lord. Now it's scaled up. It's a 21-minute Lord marching down mid.
This is very scary for Occupy Thrones because now there is almost no way for you to isolate anyone. Lord comes in. Lewis tries to find someone.
Oh, Hulk in the middle to take on the damage as well. Second will start with the real one manipulation first. 77 doesn't really have the ultimate to work with. The Lord is already chunking down on the Occupy Thrones core. Marrow is desperately trying to buy some time, but RRQ Brazil focus down the road of Occupy Thrones. And now there's one member down as well. Occupy Thrones buys some precious time, but for how long?
Oh, they cleared the minion waves. King brought one through the bottom. Leo very low.
Leo very low. Second will be there to clean it up. It's now going to be a 3v5 in the favor of RRQ. As well, Lewis will actually fall down and sacrifice at the same time. Hulk is absorbing so much damage, but he will not be there for long. Second going into real one manipulation at the same time, but Gustav Lucas going in for the crazy plays. Go ahead. Nothing left for Occupy Thrones.
May have taken a while longer, but RRQ Akira have found a way. They're sending the MPL MENA champions home tonight. GG, well played, and thank you to Occupy Thrones, but RRQ Akira moves on to the next round.
Saying they did well is an understatement. They understand what was going on, and then they, with the experience that they have, they know how to fight against it. They know how to fight against Occupy Thrones, and even though Occupy Thrones has been eliminated, I gotta say good sportsmanship because smiles are all around.
Just let it soak in, ladies and gents. Occupy Thrones, I think they outdid themselves. Maro, on the other hand, causing so much havoc. This is an unconventional game of Mobile Legends Bang Bang, but truth to be told, RRQ Akira still reigns supreme.
Well, unconventional makes for really entertaining matches, but for now, the boys from Brazil stand tall. Let's give it up. Viva RRQ! Vamos! And congratulations, obrigado, to our boys from Brazil. Let's throw it over to our analysts to break down game number 2 and the rest of the series that Viva RRQ took home.
Can't help it. I can't help it. I mean, we were cheering here, bobbing along with this amazing band and the supporters from RRQ, Akira, and just RRQ in general. And again, the throne, for now, that throne has been conquered.
Yeah.
It's a sweep here for RRQ Akira over Occupy Thrones, but again, it's
close.
been a amazing experience watching Occupy Thrones, the journey that they've had up to this point, and it's always sad to say goodbye to these teams that have to get knocked out here in the knockout stage, but the tournament must move on. But still, Occupy Thrones, congratulations to you, GGWP, and RRQ Akira. What a performance.
What a performance from them. I'm going to have to say that Occupy Thrones, all throughout the group stages and now the knockout stages, were so many close goals for the team. I think this is just about their experience that's speaking, right? Or lack thereof of Occupy Thrones. But the skill is there. You can see it. They know what they're doing. They know what they wanted to do. They're just not that clutch as compared to a team like RRQ Akira, who had more, longer training, more experience internationally. But still, Occupy Thrones, a very commendable performance.
Bright future.
Bright future, for sure.
That's what you can see here. I mean, they've made it to this point, and it was still, you got to think, it was a team that a lot of people didn't know what to expect from them, right? I mean, that was the case for a lot of these teams here, and there's a very bright future there for Occupy Thrones.
Yeah, I feel like the first 2 days of the lower bracket are always kind of tear-jerkers, even for us casters, because we get to see these teams, we get to see them perform, and especially the ones who make it from here forward. It's not as bad, because they've made it pretty far, but Occupy Thrones, a great performance, but in the end, only one team can occupy the throne. Now, Brazil did a phenomenal job holding it together through those games, even with that tough start of the second game. I mean, very well played.
Well, we're going to find out here. Again, this is a long game, considering the average time for a lot of these matches in M4. 22 minutes and 26 seconds here. This was a nail-biter, I do want to say, and Wolf, how is this looking for the items?
RQ Akira, I thought that they will have the better early game composition. I thought that they will take over the early game just because of the fact that they have Eve as well as the Brody. And even Brody having already Maleficor and Demon Hunter sword, you should have a lot of damage ready for RQ Akira. But then again, their choice this time is for King to be a little bit more passive, right? You have the Genius one for sure, but the rest is like oil on the defensive spot. So what I'm trying to say here is that RRQ Akira didn't have enough to overwhelm Occupy Thrones because of their Occupy Thrones' itemization, as well as the fact that they're actually finding the mark. Gado, I mean, even when he went 0-5, I think this is still a pretty impressive performance from the Lunox.
I mean, when we crept into the end of that game, the fights were definitely long in the choices of the Haas Claws on Gusta Lagusta plus the DHS. Then you take a look at King, who built more bulky, and you even take a look at Takashi, building the sustainability with that Bloodlust axe and everything. They were ready for the long haul. They wanted to bring in those long fights. Now, taking a look at some of these statistics, the forgotten one with Sagan picking up 12 assists, and then Gusta Lagusta. I know it was a long game.